Let me explain how this training tonight came to be. So I was about 2 weeks ago, I was having cigars with everybody's favorite person, Calic and I. Speaking of the devil, I say it, then he hops on here. And we were talking about some email strategy, and he basically makes a comment like, "Oh yeah, we've doubled the amount of clicks we're generating," and I forget when the time period might have been 6 months, might have been last year, whatever. Whenever I hear somebody that I know already does a lot of volume say they double anything, um, like my ears perk up. And so, of course, we're enjoying cigars, so I don't have what I have tonight, my pen and paper here, because tonight I'm going to be a student with you. And so, but I still wanted to know what he was doing. So I said, so basically, what are you guys doing? And so he started breaking it down, and then he mentioned that he brought on somebody to actually take this to a whole nother level, which we're going to be blessed to hear from tonight as well. And so the problem was I took the notes in my head, and I went back to my email team, and I said that we need to start doing this. And frankly, I probably remembered about 60% of what he told me. But I said, I really want to do this. And at the time, I was like, you got to show me how to do this. And he's like, great. And I said, well, do you think you could actually come on to the next masterclass and teach us? Because, like, okay, selfishly, I wanted to take notes on this. And then I thought this would be fantastic for the small list, big profit members. And it touches on a topic that I was going to touch on in one of the master classes, but frankly, they're doing a better job of it than I was. And so I thought, well, listen, all ego aside, I'll let these guys teach exactly what they're doing. So back up a little bit. After we had cigars, I went back to my email team and said, hey, listen, this is kind of what they're doing. I'm going to have more details after March 15th, but in the meantime, you think we could just start doing this? So, and I haven't told Cal this, but we've actually, from the list that we implemented this to, because I wanted to test this in sort of an isolated environment, we've actually increased our clicks by over 50%. So not doubled, but we're talking about in two weeks' time, have increased our clicks by over 50%, which is huge. Once again, we send a lot of clicks. So, to be able to move the needle that much, that quickly is really, really exciting. And so I asked Cal to be on here, and I said, hey, do you think you could bring, your secret weapon with you as well? And I said, let me see if I can get him to show up, which we're lucky enough for him to be here. And so I don't know who's going to start first, whether it's going to be the secret weapon or Calla, but I do want to tell you real quick who this secret assassin is, like what his accolades are. So his past clients are Ty Lopez, Tim Sykes, Alex Sharfin, Steve Aoki, Chris Record. Current clients, most beautiful man in the world, Calla and I. Grow Rev, which is the media buyers for Tony Robbins, Dean Graziosi, Jay Shetty, and he helps Frank Kern. So basically his clients are like way cooler than I am. And he's generated more than $27 million for his clients. He has a best-selling copywriting book that was selling for $97 per copy, which is a pretty expensive book. He's got more than 2,000 students worldwide. And as we were talking today, I got to share this. He mentioned that his goal was $100 million for his clients by 2026, I believe. And then it was $1 billion by 2035. I said, well, do you want to know a shortcut to be able to hit that $100 million number in the next 4 years? And I said, just take me on as a client. You'll get there in no time. So we'll see if that happens. But anyways, without further ado, we've got Mr. V, Cole V, and we've got Calic and I don't know who's going to start first. But I am.
You gotta make us hosts so that we can turn on our cameras. That's why we're just pictures right now.
I will make you the hostess with the mostest.
Just in Zoom. Invite us to turn on our cameras.
Yeah, I just made you guys co-hosts.
Really? Okay, let's see if I can turn on my camera now.
Cool.
Look at this magic. All right.
We're there.
Secret Assassin's not so secret anymore. So welcome to all of we got quite a bit of attendees. So that's nice. Before we dive into, Cole has already created a presentation for all of you. I'm just going to kind of sit here and do what I always do, just look pretty and take all the credit. So I want to give you some backstory on kind of the big picture strategy that you're looking at and how we came about it. So 2020, I stepped out of marketing for quite some time, was more focused on our sales division. And 2021, I stepped back in and I'm looking at everything that we're doing in marketing. And we had hired a team that we were paying. And I just understand this because I want you to understand the opportunities with the skills that you're learning here. We were paying a team $5,000 a month to manage our email list. So a small little boutique agency with like a couple of team members, we're paying them $5,000 a month to manage our email list, manage our email deliverability. Keep in mind that we're one of like 5 or 6 clients, something like that. So giving you some ideas of other things that you could do with the skills that you're learning here, just throwing that out there. So anyway, I stepped back into marketing and I'm looking at everything that we're doing and I'm noticing that our email marketing reputation and our email deliverability is basically not so great. It's gone down quite a bit. And I meet with that team and I'm asking them what they're doing. And then I started to update myself on some of the new rules around email marketing. From that point, I devised kind of it's the compilation of an old strategy that I used to use as an affiliate, but updated for 2020. So that it meets the current guidelines, right? Current guidelines and restrictions in terms of the use and all that sorts of stuff. Excuse me. Begin implementing that right away. Within about 6 weeks, we went from average email deliverability to premium email deliverability, almost doubled our open rates, doubled our click rates, everything that Tim was talking about. We did that in, I think, 6 or 7 weeks. And that's while making heavy promotions to our email list, by the way. So that's not like what a lot of people in the industry are saying is, oh, well, if you email too much, then it hurts your email deliverability. You've got to be careful how often you email and all that sorts of stuff. No, we email like gangbusters, right? We email like it's going out of style. Like today's the last day on earth and I've got to email everybody I can get my hands on. So while we're doing that, we doubled our open rates, doubled click rates, doubled traffic to the site, also doubled our engagement, our engaged audience, which we'll learn about here in just a bit. More than doubled it, really. And then about 6 or 8 weeks into that, I brought on what are we going to call this pretty boy over here? We brought on this pretty boy, and I basically started showing him what I was doing and how to execute on it. We started collaborating for about 6 or 8 weeks, and then eventually I was able to hand it off to him completely, and he's been driving this thing ever since. And he's actually gotten it a bit more dialed in than it was when I left it with him. So here's what the big picture strategy is that email service providers don't care. So how many of you, by show of hand, by just drop a comment in the chat, if you're having a hard time getting in the inbox with your email list, just type a 1 in the chat. Okay. So quite a bit of you. Now there's some training in type of 2 in the chat if you've been through my training in Conversion Labs on exactly that topic, by the way. Okay, perfect. So there's quite a few of you. That training is going to have to be updated as well. But the long and the short of it is that these email service providers, Gmail, Hotmail, Yahoo, Rocket Mail, all these these are just kind of sub brand names of these bigger brands. They don't really care how much you mail your list. What they care about is how engaged is the audience, because they're just trying to differentiate between emailers that are engaging, who their audience actually wants to hear from them, and then who's everybody else that's just abusing their email list. That's what they're trying to differentiate between. And so basically the way to hack the system is to engineer your open rates so that you always look like a premium emailer, right? Meaning that you start tactically emailing your list in such a way that you ensure that you're going to get high open rates. I'm talking 20, 30, 40, 50% or more. You ensure that you're going to get high click rates, which shows good engagement. And basically what you're doing is you're telling those email service providers, hey, when you see an email coming off of this domain, i.e. yourdomain.com, the audience that's receiving that email wants to get that email. And that's conveyed to them by the analytics that they're pulling that is showing that when you send an email, you're getting good open rates, solid open rates. And so it does not mean, though, that we only email the people that we're going to get good open rates from. It means that we kind of game the system a bit so that we engineer it to look that way. And that's what we're going to be going over tonight. So the number one thing that controls your email deliverability, who knows it? Number one thing that controls your email deliverability, drop it in the chat. Who remembers it? IP, your IP address, your IP reputation. Now, who controls that? Who controls that? Nope, ESPs don't control that. ISP. So yeah, okay. So I'm looking for you guys specifically coming off of GetResponse, right? GetResponse controls that. So the email marketing system that you're going to use is what controls the IP address. So you can't do anything about it. That's out of your hands. The second thing that is the second most important thing is the domain that is sending the email. And that you can control. You can control what that looks like to Gmail, Hotmail, Yahoo, and all of these other various sources. We focus only on Gmail. If we can focus on Gmail and get good open rates with Gmail, kind of the rest just all sort of falls in line. Plus, you're talking about 80% of the internet versus 20% of the internet. So 80% of your subscribers versus 20% of your subscribers, right? So you want to focus on the big boy, which is Gmail. So what we're going to be talking about tonight, Cole's put together a presentation for you. I may or may not jump in from time to time. Tim may or may not jump in from time to time. Hell, fuck, Tracy might jump in. Who knows? We don't know. It's a party. It's an email marketing orgy, so to speak. And so what Cole is going to be covering is exactly the strategy that we've been using to engineer our domain reputation so that anytime that we send emails, we are just inboxing like crazy. Okay. So Cole, take it away, buddy.
All right. Thank you guys. Thank you for the wild introduction. Excited for the email marketing orgy that is about to go down, apparently. Gotta leave it to Kiala to keep it politically correct at all times. Welcome, everybody. I'm super excited for this. Kiala did not place any limits on what I am sharing with you today. So you're going to get exactly what we use at Full Stack. Like Kiala said, I took over this strategy. He kind of handed up and said, hey, this is what I've used in the past. This is what's worked. This is where we've been. And I've just been playing with it ever since. And since June, I would say July, probably. Since then, we were hovering around. I can share like our numbers, right, Kiala? Yeah. Okay, cool. So everybody's got an NDA, all that fun stuff. Great. So I took over the list. We were hovering right around 27 to 30% open rate, and sending about half the volume we are today. Now we're hitting, I think it's at a little over 59%. I have the account open. I just sent an email out. We're at 57% open rate right now. So you can see the difference that this strategy really does make if you stay consistent with it and you continue to adjust and adapt as time goes on. So if you guys are excited about inboxing more, like making more sales, getting more clicks, higher open rates, like making money as an affiliate marketer, throw one in the chat. Let's get it started. There we go. Amazing. Tim's excited. Tim's already trying to steal me from Kiala.
Yo.
Yeah.
I want to give people context here. What's the number one challenge so they understand the value of the training? What's the number one challenge that you face with with endorsed email traffic? Who knows it? Biggest challenge you're going to face with endorsed email traffic? Not clicks. Nope. Not spam. Not inboxing. Nope. What's the number one thing that you face? Nope. Not trust. Not writing the email. Not getting them to open. These are all symptoms of the problem. Subscribers, consistency, attention, no. What they want, focus, nope. None of these so far. Let's keep going. I've talked about it several times, but it's the biggest issue that you face when you are getting traffic from an email list. Conversion, deliverability, not quality prospects. I mean, not quality prospects. Tim's only made $70 million with those non-quality prospects, just for clarity. Getting them to buy, consistency, my credibility goes to spam, qualified leads, competition. Eric, of course it would be you. Guys, the number one thing the reason that you're experiencing all the other things that you're talking about right now is because these people came off of an email list, which means that they are currently on somebody else's email list. And tomorrow they're going to get an ad from somebody else about some other offer, right? So the number one issue that you face, unlike when you generate traffic off of Facebook or Google or YouTube, where you've created a relationship with them up front, you've set yourself apart from everybody else whose list that they're on, and you've given them some sort of incentive, which is called, which is basically self-generated traffic. You're getting secondary generated traffic. Somebody else did the hard work of getting them on a list, and now they're using that list to transfer that traffic over to you. That means that their inbox is going to be more competitive than if you had generated them off of Facebook or YouTube. Does that make sense? Type of two in the chat if that makes sense. That's not good, bad, right, wrong, better, or worse. It's just the facts. It's just the facts, right? If you want to go fight the social media game and all those demons, you can do that. And, you'll pay a higher cost per lead, and it'll take a little bit longer to get there. Not that that's bad either. Or you get up and running really quickly with endorsed email traffic. You don't have to fight any of those demons. You get lower lead costs, but you have a different issue. You got to compete in the inbox. Why am I saying all of that? Because what Cole is about to show you is the competitive advantage that you need. It is the thing that's going to separate you from all the other people that are trying to inbox this person. And it's going to, because nobody else is doing it, because we invented it, basically. Right. And now I've got companies like ClickFunnels asking me to do trainings for their audience on our email marketing, because when I've posted on Facebook about our numbers, that's not even possible. How the hell is anybody doing that? So here you are about to get your hands on the goods. Now, the only thing that we're going to ask is just keep this between us, right? Don't go posting this on Facebook. Don't go necessarily do your own training on it. Don't be posting it all over the Facebook community. This is something that, we're sharing with you until we update the content in the back office. We're sharing it with you here first as Small List Big Profits members. Fair? Type of 2 in the chat if you're cool with that. All right, let's go.
Awesome. They're all excited. This is great. All right. I'm going to share my screen. All right. Make sure, can you guys see my screen here? It should be like a slideshow presentation, how to double your clicks. Does that look good, Tracy? We good? Cool. Awesome. Let's get it going. All right. So how to double your clicks and increase sales for every email you send. I am Cole Vandy. I am the copywriter for Kiala. You guys saw a laundry list of other clients that I have worked with in the past and current clients that I work with now. And what Kiala is saying is true. Not a single other client of mine in this space even knows what this is. They're blindly mailing their list, which is going to give you guys a huge competitive advantage, especially over anyone else in the marketing industry. So you guys are going to get it first. So I'm really excited to share that with you guys today. Before we dive in and get started, there's going to be a lot of terms that I'm going to be throwing around during this that are really important. So I want to make sure you guys know what these are in clear definitions. So that way there's no second definitions or guessing at what we're talking about here. All right. So First one is a segment. Segment is going to be referring to the email list itself. This is just a group of contacts that share a common thing or a theme of some sort. We'll talk a little bit more about, different types of segments that we'll be using. But just know that when we refer to segment, this is just a group of contacts on your list that have something in common. Okay. The next one here is engaged. When we say engaged, we are not talking about somebody that just got married. Although that is great and fantastic. We're really excited for them. We're going to throw a great party. They're going to buy us a bunch of food, go out to a big dinner. But when we're talking about engaged tonight, what we are talking about are contacts that have opened emails within a determined time frame. What those time frames are, we will talk about here later on in this training. But just know when we refer to engage, we're talking about contacts that have opened. If a contact clicks, that's obviously a little bit more engaged, so that adds another level to it. But for the purposes of this particular training, engaged is going to refer to contacts that have opened our emails. Non-engaged would be the exact opposite. People that have not opened your emails during a certain time period. Whether that be a couple weeks, months, things like that. We'll talk a little bit more about this in a moment. The word relevant, I took the literal definition off of Webster, closely connected or appropriate to what is being done or considered. And then to take this a little bit further than that, so you have the context for how we're going to be applying this tonight. And with our email list, when I'm talking about relevant, I'm going to be talking about what I mean by that is using words, phrases, and deadlines that they are already familiar with, meaning they have already seen them from us specifically. So we have either emailed them this information before, or they came through our funnel or opt-in page, and that particular page had these words, phrases, or deadlines on them already. Okay. The key here is that we have to be, when we are using these words, phrases, and deadlines, we have to know for certain that they have already been through this. We don't want to guess that they just know these words or phrases, right? For example, if someone isn't familiar with what a funnel is, we don't want to use the word funnel necessarily in our copy. We want to use something that they're more familiar with, like a website or a web page. Eventually, we will educate them on what those things are. But when we're talking about relevant content tonight, what we were talking about is things that they have definitely seen from us in our marketing efforts in the recent past. So not 6 months ago, but something we have talked about with them in the recent past. How you can determine whether or not these things are relevant. Another example of that, if they came into your funnel, that landing page, anything on that landing page would be considered relevant. Or if you've sent them a couple of emails and they were clickers and they clicked and went to another page, we can assume a good amount of those clickers probably have a good idea of what's on that page. Not necessarily the entirety of it, not every single person, but for the most part, we can start referencing some of that in our email copy, in our subject lines, and be able to really increase the engagement overall, because we're using words and verbiage that they are familiar with already. So there's no gap of education. They get it already. They don't have to think about it. All right. So I'm going to go through here now. Do we have questions on that? Is that pretty clear? Does anybody have questions about these terms? No, maybe, possibly. No, perfect. Give me a 1 if these terms are clear. You understand entirely. There's no doubts, questions, concerns. We're all on the same page. Perfect. All right. So let's review the strategy just from a 30,000 foot view, so this makes sense as we get into it. I don't want to just dive down the rabbit hole and start confusing you guys. So let me share with you guys from a 30,000 foot view what this actually looks like. So in our email marketing efforts at Full Stack, what we are doing is we are sending to a specific audience or group of audiences. We're sending at least 2 emails per day. So in the morning, we send an email that's to a wide segment. Okay. I'll explain a little bit more why that is. But for right now, just know that the first email of the day, that one's going to go to our wide or broad segment, the one that has a lot more contacts. I'll explain more about what a wide segment is and how to create that, all that fun stuff. But again, just 30,000 foot view before we go down the rabbit hole. Okay. Our evening email, our second email of the day, this is going to go towards a narrow segment. This is a smaller segment. All right. The reason for that is a lot of people, like Kiala said, a lot of people in our industry, they talk about how you email too much, or you can't email 2, 3, 4 times a day. You're crazy. You're going to get blacklisted. You're going to, ruin your domain reputation. Your deliverability is going to go down. It's not true. When you apply this strategy, you can actually increase the amount of emails you send every day. And the reason for that is in the morning, when you hit a broad segment of people, let's say, 1,000 contacts in the morning, and then in the evening, you're hitting a more narrowed segment of, 300 or 500 contacts. Only the narrow segment, the people that are the most engaged with you, the people that are opening your emails, that want your content, they are going to get 2 emails from you. But the people that aren't opening as much, they're not going to get that second email that day. So this is going to reduce your spam, your complaints. This is going to reduce unsubscribes as much as possible. Can't avoid it, but we can reduce it as much as we can, which is going to build goodwill with the list, right? And which is going to build that relationship to help us add value to them, present offers in a way that they want to see them, and speak to them in a way that they want to be spoken to. We have another segment here. This is non-engaged. The non-engaged segment, again, is just people that have not opened. This is a segment that we rarely mail to, but it can help increase the amount of eyeballs on a particular offer, because we are excluding the people that have recently opened and seen our stuff. I'll speak a little bit more about this here in a moment. But just know, if you're not 100% certain on this, guys, this is for advanced folks only. So if what we go through today is brand new information to you and you're not sure what a segment is yet, and you're just really getting started, then this non-engaged segment is probably a segment that you're not going to mail. The reason I'm bringing this up is for those of you that are maybe a little bit more savvy with the email marketing, or you've been doing this a little bit longer, you're going to understand as we go through what to look for. And I'm going to explain that here as well, but you're going to understand where you can apply this and you can start testing it out. The reason you don't want to use this unless you know exactly why you're doing it is because it can ruin all of the hard work you've done. You're going to see really low open rates and really low engagement when you mail this particular segment. So there's a lot of steps that are involved in order to do this. So a good rule of thumb to have is, if you have absolutely any questions on whether or not you should mail this segment, or if you don't know, then just don't mail it. It's not needed. It's not required. It can help, but you can get by without it. Trust me. I think we've only mailed this segment 3 or 4 times in the last 9 months, maybe 5 or 6 times actually. So it's not super critical in order to have massive success, and it can actually hurt all of the efforts. So again, if you're advanced, this is something that you can apply. If you are just getting started, just disregard this particular segment. All right. Is that clear for everybody? Give me a 3 in the chat if so far we are clear on what this strategy looks like. All right. And then give me a 5 in the chat if this looks pretty simple. Like you think you could probably apply something like this fairly easily, and actually might make your email marketing efforts easier. There we go. Cool. I'm about to make it a little more challenging. Stick with me though, because it's not quite that complicated. So I'm going to dive in here and I'm going to start explaining what these different segments are, some best uses for it, and some tactics on how to apply this to your list.